and then we'll change the rack com out. All right, hello and welcome to another edition of the Rithmm Rundown with myself, Josh Applebaum, and my buddy, Cade Harper. Of course, Cade, we got another big Thursday Night Football showdown here for tonight, kicking off NFL Week 16. Unbelievable how the season's flying by, man. Pretty soon we're going to have playoffs. We already have bowl games we have to talk about for college football, as well as some college football playoff matchups. And then before you know it, it'll be the Super Bowl, Cade. So, I mean, the season really has been flying by, and it's just been a great journey here working with you, breaking down these games all season long. I do want to share my screen and, of course, welcome everyone into the show. And Cade, I always start off by saying, hey, use the promo code START25 for 25% off. Use your refer a friend. Take advantage of the Discord. But today, Cade, we have a really awesome update that we are excited to share with all of the Rithmm power users out there, because this just goes to show you, Cade, how hard at work the team at Rithmm always is. Again, the incredible part about Rithmm to me is these AI-backed models and predictions let us act like wise guys and sharps, where we're comparing what the AI model thinks the line should be. We're applying different, kind of vantage points and viewpoints to come to a conclusion of, okay, I see it this way, and this reaffirms my position, makes me more confident in the play, or maybe, hey, I should lay off because I like this dog +7. Rithmm says they should be +9.1. But the cool thing as well is that Rithmm is always trying to improve the app, the product. It's not just these great AI-backed models, but it's also a super cool thing that just got released today. Cade, you and I are on the brand new Adam Rosenberg, chat here on Twitter and also on our group chat for text. And Adam told us about this, and it's super cool. But we teased this last week in terms of a bet sync. So if people don't know what bet sync is, I'm just going to pick a random game. We're going to have to go through this game here, obviously Rams and the Seahawks. But if you scroll down to below where all the predictions are at, you're going to notice that, last week I think it was just DraftKings. Check it out, Cade. We have Kalshi, The Score, BetMGM, FanDuel, DraftKings. Pretty soon you're going to have every book under the sun linked to the bottom. So the cool part about this, if you don't know what BetSync is, basically it just makes your process as a bettor a lot quicker, a lot easier. So instead of having to log into Rithmm on your app, figure out what you want to do, then go into your app, separate logins, yada, yada, it can become tedious. Super cool that the team at Rithmm has created this just direct contact where if you like the Rams, boom, it'll go right to your sportsbook. You can go bet it immediately. On the flip side, you're looking at the total. We'll talk about this because weather could be a big issue tonight in Seattle with a lot of wind. Let's say you're thinking about the under, boom, find the book with the best number, goes right to your book, and you can place your bet. So pretty awesome. And again, shout out to the Rithmm crew for continuing to upgrade and improve the product. And this bet sync should be a huge, huge advantage here. So, Cade, let me throw it to you, man. How you doing? How you feeling? What are your thoughts on overall? Maybe just approaches to bowl games or thoughts on the slate. Do you bet, NFL Week 16 differently than you do weeks 1, 2 through 10? I think there's a lot of different variables at play now, which make it a little more difficult as bettors. But if you can kind of, be aware of how the landscape changes, that could be a big advantage.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, what a weekend we have on our hands. You're starting it off hot tonight with this, and then obviously you have playoff games kicking off tomorrow in college, which is just going to be electric weekend. So I'm excited as is. I'm super pumped to use Rithmm this weekend for one, just because they're introducing all this new stuff. It feels like at the perfect time. Like you have postseason play, you have down to the wire in NFL. They're giving you all of this data to use right at your fingertips. And yeah, it's perfect time to start using it, obviously, if you're not already. And if you are, congrats to you. Keep riding. But yeah, later in the season, I do tend to kind of bet the NFL. I don't want to say differently because a lot of it is the divisional games. Like I was saying earlier, the post week 14 divisional unders, extremely profitable. And they had another good weekend last week as well. So I kind of like to tend more towards totals towards this time of the year because you have the outdoor factors, you have the divisional factors, you have all the injuries that come in, especially into play, and all this stuff is just factoring into it, and you're still getting the same totals. And then maybe you already probably have one game under the belt for most of these divisional games. So like you already have some data ahead of your hands for that. So I like to tend to more to the total side of things more than picking a side of a team more so. But then again, that's mainly my betting philosophy in NFL as is. I'm just an unders guy. So here we are.
No, I'm glad you brought that up because, again, we focus on, sides, totals, props. There's different ways to go about it. Kate, I'm already going to warn you. There's a big incentives conversation going on with Twitter where, the guy is, 5 catches away from $1 million bonus. So therefore you have to go bet his over 4.5 this week. So I would just be a little cautious with that narrative. You hear, this is the time of year you always hear that. But to your point, you hit on a couple of very important things. Those outdoor divisional unders, super, super important. Those divisional unders, weather could really, rear its head. We'll talk about this game tonight, but you get into December, leading into almost the new year here. You're going to have some snow. You're going to have the elements. Wind, obviously, is a huge impact with these totals. So these are the things you got to be conscious of. And also give you a couple examples where Rithmm really helped me yesterday, Cade. There were 2 bowl games, and you and I were talking about this in our Rithmm chat, Old Dominion and Delaware. Now, bowl games, you got to be a little bit careful because, number one, I'm going to pay attention to what the market is telling me in terms of what are the splits, bets and dollars, which direction is the line moving. But then also you got to be aware of these opt-outs and, coaches who have already left or, transfers or guys sitting out. There's a lot of, you can't cap these bowl games the same way you do regular season. But just for example, yesterday, Rithmm really helped me out because I liked Old Dominion against South Florida because South Florida opened as high as like -7. That line got down to 4, even 3.5. Old Dominion had a good low bets, higher dollar split, good sharp line move. They had a interim coach for South Florida, and Old Dominion was motivated. Motivation is a huge factor. You got to, think about, which team is this bowl game more meaningful for? Old Dominion, their head coach had never won a game, so that was important for him to get a win. And Rithmm said you actually were looking at a spread of around 0.5 or 2.1 when you were getting 3.5 or 4. So Rithmm nailed it with Old Dominion. And then Delaware. Cade had to sweat that a little bit. Delaware did their best to give it up at the end and blow it for us, but they hung on. Very last second, they batted away a pass which would have tied the game, or maybe Louisiana would have even gone for 2 there. But Delaware went from +3.5 down to +1.5. And you had the Louisiana issues and players and guys not playing. And Rithmm had, in that game, Delaware +0.5. So when you're combining, just a tip if you're betting these bowl games, again, college football playoffs, they're all going to play. They're all going to try hard. That's an equalizer, and we'll get to a couple games I'm really excited to talk about. But if you can combine low bets, higher dollars, line move with motivational edge, with, hey, this team's trying, this team is got a bunch of opt-outs, and the beautiful cherry on top is you like the dog 3.5. Rithmm says it should be a half-point game. Boom. That's what I really, really enjoy focusing on when it comes to these bowl games. But with that being said, Cade, let's dive right in, man. I'll set up this game tonight. I'll just tell you right now, I have a clear position on this game, the way I look at the betting market, but it is a difficult play because it's such a short number, and we'll get to it here in a second, but Rithmm kind of has a conflict in this game where some of the systems are saying Rams, some of the systems are saying Seattle. The total is pretty clear because it's a really windy game, and it's fallen quite a bit. But let's just talk about kind of what we've seen here. I mean, this is a huge game from the standpoint of, in a lot of these games coming up, you're going to have like backup quarterbacks, teams that are eliminated, a lot of weird things going on, but not this one. It's very, very clear here that both these teams want this game. It's very important. Both 11-3 divisional rivals. I believe the winner gets first place in the NFC, so you really want that bye. But what I noticed here, Cade, is the line moving mostly towards Seattle because we opened this game Rams around -1.5, -1. Public is playing the Rams. They're getting upwards of 65% of spread bets at DraftKings, but the line hasn't gone to Rams -2, -3. No, it's hopped the fence to Seattle -1.5. Some books around 1.5, but that was the first indicator to me to play Seattle. Public's on Rams. The line has shifted dog to fave in favor of the Seahawks. Seahawks are contrarian in a heavily bet game. So just from the standpoint of you take away that dog to fave line move, that reverse line move, they're just, a bet against the public play where if you go to the barcade in Boston, everyone's sweating the Rams because they're the Super Bowl favorite. Stafford's the MVP favorite. So just from a fade the drunk guy at the bar standpoint, Seattle gets me excited. But then we get into this line move towards Seattle. Also, if you look at a couple systems here, when both teams are coming off a win, take the home favorite. That system is 72% this year, straight up, and 73% since 2022. And you also look at Thursday Night Football home favorites. They're 7-4 straight up this year, and they're 73% since 2006. And to your point, this is the second go around with this divisional matchup, and you kind of saw it with the Patriots and the Bills, where divisional opponent, you've already played once. It's kind of hard for the team who won the first game to win again. Like, you see a lot more splits just because it's hard to beat your divisional opponent 2 times in a year. So Seattle played hard at the Rams in week 11. They lost 21-19. This is their time for some retribution here. And by the way, no Devontae Adams, it looks like. He's expected to miss this game. So you add it all up to me, Cade, it really screams Seattle to me. Publix Rams, line went to Seattle. A lot of these system matches, contrarian opportunity. But this is what complicates it a bit. If we go to this game, I have conflicting systems. So I have a system that says take Rams plus 1.5 because Rams should be favored by 1.3. I have a system that says play Seahawks because they should be minus 1.2. I have another Ram system saying Rams should be favored by 0.8. If I go to the money line, which I know you and I both like to do, money lining short favorites, because God forbid you lay 1.5 with Seattle, they win by 1. Wind could cause issues with kicks, extra points, 2-point conversions. You lay a 1.5, you win by 1. I won't be able to sleep tonight, Cade. I'll say, why didn't I, pay the juice and protect myself? But once again, I have conflicting systems. One says take the Rams money line. One says take Seattle money line. So I think when you get into this situation, the easy answer is don't play the game, because Rithmm is saying there's kind of a case to be made for both sides. I'm going to go with Seattle here, Cade, because again, I do have at least some conflicts, but at least I have a few on my side telling me to take Seattle. I wish it was all lit up on Seattle, but I think it just goes to show you it's a tight number. It's 2 really good teams. I'm going to lean with the contrarian team that's taking in the line move. So I'm going Seattle. But let me throw it to you, Cade. What's your viewpoint on this game here tonight? Because I think it's kind of a tough one.
I think so too. This, like I said, this could be very much so one of the best games of the NFL season as far as Thursday night goes. I think the first best one was definitely probably Pats and Bills earlier this year. That was definitely a good one. But now we have like a shot at like just another, like both of the teams are insanely good. And so like, I don't even remember the last time we had like 2 10-win teams going out on Thursday night. It feels like these games are always just a blunder, an absolute snooze fest. This one, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be different. I don't know what it is. I don't expect it to be anywhere where one runs away with it. It's a blowout and blah, blah, blah. It's going to be a tight game. Odds makers obviously are on that side. They agree with that. And I'm going to have to give the home team the edge here, obviously. They are the healthier team overall. Like you already said, they are without Devontae Adams, which is just a huge, because he is their number 1 red zone guy. He leads the NFL in touchdowns as far as receiving goes. And like, that's Stafford's first read. Like, a lot of people, they think it's Nakua. If you look at actual like percentage numbers and stuff like that, Devontae Adams leads Nakua in like first target read share. So that's a big loss. It's like you're going to even put more attention on Nakua if you're the Seattle defense, which is already phenomenal as is, I must say, already. And their defense, like I said, again, they've been outstanding. They are second in points allowed per game at 17.3. I think the defense is the difference maker tonight, personally, and they just shut down Stafford through the air. But overall, yeah, again, home team's given the edge for me. I like the crowd. I like the atmosphere. It should be a really fun one, but I'm going to go Seattle for cheap on the money line just because of the value that's behind it right now.
Yeah, great point by you. Again, a lot of factors here lining up with Seattle. And again, the goal of this live stream is to use Rithmm to our advantage. So, oftentimes it's going to be very clear. 3 green stars lit up all on the same side. Like, we love when that happens. But I think it does require a little bit of work for you as the bettor to kind of think through it. So, again, this is not a perfect play from a Rithmm standpoint because you do have kind of conflicting value, conflicting recommendations here. But once again, I think if you use a little bit of your own intuition, you could either say, hey, I'm not touching this game because there's not a clear side, or I'm going to take a piece of what Rithmm is telling me and apply it to the way I'm viewing the game from a market-based perspective, at least from my position here. And also, Cade, you're mentioning two great teams. Do you know the updated Super Bowl odds? I know the Rams are the favorite. They're plus 320 to win the Super Bowl right now at DK, but the Seahawks have the second best odds, plus 650. That surprised me a bit, Cade. Broncos and Bills are both plus 800. Eagles, Texans plus 1100. You have Patriots, Packers, both plus 1500. So to your point, could be a really, really good game tonight. Obviously, you and I will be rooting for Seattle to win this one. The other angle to me, aside from everything we just mentioned, the weather. We got to talk about this total, Cade, because it's really, really fallen, and it's pretty clear where the smart money and where the weather is kind of leaning the smart money and the bettors to go, which would be the under. And we got to think about the Rams as great as they are. They're from LA. It's warm. They have a dome stadium. Seattle, Pacific Northwest, they're used to the weather. So is that another built-in advantage to Seattle? I was actually hoping, Kate, it would be like, 10 degrees and snow and wind and like everything. It's actually going to be like 50 degrees. I was surprised by that. But it is going to be very, very windy. So the latest forecast here for this game tonight at Lumen Stadium, and it's really maybe you want to target overall the first half as well, because especially early, really windy. You've seen some stuff on Twitter, some of the reporters there showing how it's like also raining right now, but I think the rain should let up. But you're looking at around 20 mile per hour winds, gusts up to 40 miles per hour. That gets down to like 15 miles an hour and gust up to 20 in the second half. But anytime you see weather in this situation, wind is the friend of an under. Windy unders is one of the earliest systems I ever learned about, Cade. When the wind blows really, really hard, so at least 10 miles per hour or more, you've seen the under do very well historically because it's harder to throw the ball. It's harder to make kicks. You're going to run it more, which block. If you look at these windy unders, 10 miles per hour or more, which would match for tonight, they're 21-11 this year, 66%. They're 262 and 185, 59% since 2016. You also look at primetime unders. You and I highlight this. We've been doing it all year, but they're 28-21, 57%. They're 58% since 2022. You mentioned those outdoor divisional unders. They're only 53% this year, 26-23, but they're closer to 55% since 2017. And if you look at the splits, they look pretty good on the under. At DraftKings, 38% bets, 46% dollars on the under. At Circa, 30% bets, 56% dollars. So we do have a couple conflicts here, some overs and some unders, but 2 out of the 3 are unders. One is predicted 40.6 points. Second model is 43.5, but the third one is 41. So I'm looking toward the under here, Cade. To me, it's under or nothing. If you look at the Rams, I'm not going to blame you if you want to tease them up 1.5, to go up to 7.5, and maybe you take this total up 42.5 to 48.5 and you go under. But talk to me about your thoughts on the total. Is there still value? It's been hovering 42.5. It got to 43. It's coming back down. What are you doing here with the total, if anything, tonight, Kate?
This is different for me to speak on because I got 44.5. I didn't even get the opener. That's how fast this thing moved. I saw it open. I think it was like 46. And then I saw it the night. I forget what night it opened at, honestly. But looked at the night. I'm like, that's interesting. I'll check back tomorrow morning, circle back, do some digging a little bit. And I'm like, bang, 45, 44. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm just going to go ahead and so
sure. Now you're sitting pretty, man. You're looking good right now.
I'm not mad about it. I mean, I've got a decent 2 points, I guess. I would have loved that. Like, that opener was beautiful. If whoever got that, round of applause, because that thing went fast. It starts with the weather. I mean, you can talk about these defenses all that you want. You know who you have on both sides. You have, obviously, like we went over, sure, you have Devontae Adams, who is a valuable point scoring target on one side, but the Rams defensive side, they're like, this is pretty much top 5 versus top 5 unit on the defensive side. Let's be real. They are both unbelievable. The weather is just the cherry on the top. It's the whipped cream. It's the hot fudge. You know what I mean? But the defense is like, that's the base. That's the foundation of this under, it's like my favorite total of the year. And I wish I had put more down, but I can't track line movement, obviously. I didn't expect it to go down 5 points in 3 days. So you have both offenses attack in the running game, but they don't project a ton of success in that range. So Stafford, leading MVP candidate probably at that point. I don't know where the odds are for that. I'm assuming he's definitely within the top 2 or 3, but when you're without a guy like Devontae, you're going to tend to maybe lean on a guy like Kyron, who is your short yardage, maybe get a couple of explosive runs out the gate, but then you meet the Seattle defense. 27% conversion rate on third down. They get teams off the field, they get their offense on, and they take over with great field position. They're phenomenal. They are the best in the NFL at that mark. But they can obviously, like I said earlier, you're paying much more attention to Puka Nacua on the other side. And in those key situations, they got to find a guy to get the ball to on these third downs. Because if you're only looking at the one guy, sure, you got your Colby Parkinson, you have your other tight ends, you have other slot guys. Sure. They're not Puka, though. Let's be honest. You know what I mean, guys? So, and you look at the LA Rams side on their defense. They have made life a living hell for Sam Darnold, especially in that first meeting. For those who watched, 4 interceptions for the guy. You're going to expect Seattle to have their notes written on this defense because they do not want to do that again. If they have to stick to the run, they're going to just do it. They're not going to risk anything. They're not going to be too aggressive. They're not going to prove themselves to be effective as they can. And if they do that, that's only going to shorten the game. That's going to slow the pace down. Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet, they are not your big play backs. Like, I think Kenneth Walker's, like, for the first time in a long time that I can remember, unless I just didn't check, he's like plus 170 to score a touchdown, I think, which is like the highest that I've seen for a running back of his caliber in a long time. So if that slows the game down, if that shortens the pace, you're going to translate this to a defensive battle in disgusting weather that's probably going to see the winner of this game. You might not even hit 20 points on both sides. You're lucky to hit 20 points. I think whoever hits 20 first, they win the game, period. Thankfully, hopefully it's Seattle in our case, obviously. But I won't be surprised if like this is like a teens final. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. You laid it out perfectly. You got the weather with the wind. Again, being a big detriment to the offense, harder to throw it, harder to kick it. You're going to run it more. You get 2 really good defenses, and we have Rithmm recommending here to go under 42.5, predicted around 40.6. So, kid, you're looking great with that CLV you got on that under. I bet at the time you're like, man, should I play it? It's falling a lot. Nope, it's going to fall further. So you're looking pretty good with that under there. And to your point, you're asking about Stafford. I just looked it up. He's now minus 300 at DraftKings to win MVP.
I did not know it was that. Holy cow. I haven't checked that in a while. So, yeah, they're good night. Okay, there you go.
And I would say, too, like, you know, again, this could be totally wrong, but let's say it is a low-scoring game because of the weather and the great defenses. Let's say you don't want to push this too much because the opposite could happen, but let's say Seattle wins. I'm not playing Stafford minus 300 right now. They lose. He doesn't put up great numbers. Maybe he's down to plus 200. You know, you might get a better number on him after the game than you would before. So just something to keep an eye out for. Now, I got to throw at you some player props, Cade, because I think we got to look at this game from the standpoint of, okay, no Davante Adams, what's the trickle-down effect? Because when you take Davante Adams off the field, that makes it a lot easier on the defense of Seattle. I would also imagine you're going to double guys like Puka. So therefore, Puka's job becomes a lot harder because you don't have Davante Adams, you know, causing a lot of attention. And just so happens, if we go to our props and we go to this game with our Green Star recommended plays just, you know, right in front of our face, let's go to receptions and we land on Puka Nacua. Now, guy's awesome. Totally admit that. But you and I have been doing this quite a bit all year long. I feel like that week 11 game, we also highlighted Nacua going under here. It feels like that's been our spot where you get to an island game, a primetime game. Everyone's going to want to go over with the star receiver. Give me his anytime touchdown. Give me his over catches. Give me his over receiving yards. But what do we always mention? If you're going with the very, very popular play in the affirmative on a star player, keep in mind that everyone else is doing that too. And the odds makers might be setting those lines with that bias in mind. Therefore, you're kind of betting into an inflated number that is super popular. Therefore, flip it the other way, you probably want to go against some of these. So that's what I'm looking here tonight, Cade. Puka Nacua under 7.5 receptions. Rithmm is predicting 5.3. So that is a decent little edge between obviously what the market is and where he's sitting from a Rithmm perspective. That's a 2-catch advantage. We always talk about a 10-yard discrepancy with yardage, but 2 catches, I mean, that's pretty decent. Like even Rithmm is off by a catch or catch and a half, you can still get that under 7.5. And what I really like, aside from, the no Devontae, key on Puka, I think if you're McDonald defensively, you're saying, okay, Nakua's not going to beat me tonight. Let's double him. Let's, make sure we can, put a safety over the top, find a way to limit him, especially with, of course, Adams out. But also, if you look at some of his, and here's another great example of what these smart signals mean. We're really focusing on a particular situation and a set of conditions that make it an even better than a recommended play, but a smart signal. But if we go to his trends, Cade, a lot of red here, a lot of unders. As great as he is, he'll go off for 13 catches, 10 catches. He had 9 last week. But look at all these red barometers here throughout. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's gone under in 7 of his last 8 games. So for a lot of receivers, 7 catches, 100 yards, touchdown. I mean, that is an amazing game. For Puka, that's still going to hit his under. So that's kind of crazy to me that he could have a really good game, and yet you can still cash your under here. So let me toss it to you, Kate. Are you riding the Nacua under? Looks like Rithmm is telling us, hey, we should take this under 7.5 tonight.
I like it strictly because of how the game is panning out to look. Like I know my model doesn't have, I think my other one, like I always refer to, and I can bind them and pretty much, like I always said, if they pretty much agree, then we're going with it. I'm right under 7 at like 6.9. His yards are over at like 102. So I like a 6 receptions, 102. I'm not really paying much attention to the yards, only because he can avoid tackles pretty well. The catches standpoint, it's just, I go back to the weather thing again. And I think this is another thing that like I like about the model highlighting such a high number of catches in a game that's just supposed to be nasty. I mean, you're looking 80% chance of rain like we were talking about. Like, do you expect them to be slinging around that much? I don't know if I really would want to personally. And then you factor in the wind like we were talking about again earlier. If you put any lick of air under that ball, you're starting out here and then suddenly you're in section 108. So I don't know if I really expect a ton of gunslinging from Stafford, if you want to call it that. So for a high number such as that, and a guy that's been off recently, coming off of a game where he went over, I would like to fade that coming into this game for sure, no doubt.
Amen. And again, 5.3 predicted by Rithmm. Betting market is 7.5, and it's really not a bad juice price either, Kate. I mean, you're getting minus 102. If we can line shop a little bit, you're even getting a plus 100 at BetMGM. So again, that's another advantage. You risk a unit on an under 7.5 plus 100, you're going to get a full unit back. So that is a pretty good payout there. A couple other guys. Here's a big tight end that you had mentioned earlier, Cade, Colby Parkinson. Big lumbering guy, but he's pretty big. What's he, like 6'8" or something? The guy's huge, but I like this under. I agree with Rithmm. I think it's a pretty sharp bet here. Now, Parkinson under 4.5. Number one, the first thing I noticed, Cade, really juiced up. Minus 142 at FanDuel, minus 145 at the score. BetMGM minus 155. That would scare a lot of bettors because they just don't want to bet a minus number, because I want to play something plus money that will, generate a bigger profit. I look at it the other way. I think that's a sign that, hey, you're paying a more expensive juice price for a reason, because it's more likely that he does go under. 3.4 predicted, under 4.5. And if we look at his trends, once again, a lot of red here. A lot of games that have gone under this number. If you look at Parkinson to the under 4.5 catches, he went 5 last week, which would have, again, lost this under 4.5 tonight. But prior to that, he had gone under 9-1 in his last 10. So, you and I have talked a lot about guys that are not, household names. Our guy Flournoy for the boys, Schoonmaker. I mean, so how many of these guys have we talked about all year? But if you play the Parkinson under, you might not be the most popular guy at your, Thirsty Thursday party, but that looks like a pretty sharp bet. Again, with the weather, with missing Nakua, that makes a lot of sense to me. And then I'll just throw another one at you, Cade, and then kind of get your thoughts. If we go back to our kind of main page here, if we look at rush attempts, this jumped out to me as well. Blake Corum, the little guy from Michigan, under 9.5. Rithmm is predicting 6.7. Now, a little worrisome because he's gone over this number last couple of games and he's getting more action. But if this is more of a Kyron Williams game, does Corum land on 8 or 9? You cash by the skin of your teeth. I'll throw it to you, Cade. Any love for the Corum under, the Parkinson under, or I know you're talking interceptions, and this just jumped out to me, Darnold. Everyone thinks he will throw a pick. Rithmm is saying he won't, and you can get some plus money on that one.
That's nice. I didn't have any of those, but it makes me smile because I had the other tight ends for Rams. I'm a big Ferguson and Davis Smith guy tonight, I think. I know that Rithmm, I checked, or Davis Allen, sorry. I checked before. I know Rithmm didn't have anything on them specifically. But once I saw the Colby under it, and I was just like, oh, I mean, it's kind of in a way. Now, I look back at these past Rams games, or Stafford specifically. Whenever his guy is out, specifically McVay, we know McVay with a play sheet can be just an absolute demon. This dude draws up the weirdest schemes whenever you have another guy where you're just not expecting it. And nonetheless, you have a 500-1 first touchdown score in this game, probably. That's just the kind of thing that he does. So the moment that you're out on your number one guy, you bring in these other two tight ends. I'm not going to be surprised if he puts them in a bunch set and just puts them on a flat. But I took Ferguson's over receptions, and then I took, I think, Allen on yards. I think, which, yeah, I was checking earlier. I think they're obviously both cautions, but I couldn't do it. I don't know. I just saw the Colby under, and it made me kind of do a little bit more digging, and then my models had them projected by 2 or more. And so kind of went with it in a way, but I didn't have the Colby one. But yeah, again, like I said, that makes me kind of smile a little bit. So yeah.
No, it makes a ton of sense to me. Yeah, the other one that I want to throw at you too, because I think we're kind of onto something. We're thinking about the way the game may go, which is dangerous because it could go the complete opposite. It could be a shootout. Who knows? The betting is crazy like that. Everything that everyone thinks will happen, usually the opposite does. But if this is a low-scoring game, it is a low total that's fallen, it is windy, you have two good defenses, what if they just run it a lot? Now, that wouldn't be good for your Corum under 9.5 rushes, but two guys are lighting up here, Cade. Kyron Williams, who you mentioned, to go over 57.5. For him, that's kind of a low number. Usually he's 70s or more. Rhythm's predicting 79.1. So if the wind is whipping and Stafford, as great as he is, even Superman can't throw it in a crosswinds here going 40 miles per hour. If he gets you close to 15, 20 carries at, 3 yards a clip, going over 57.5, that makes a lot of sense. And then also Charbonnet, who you mentioned, a lot of love, obviously for Kenneth Walker, but over 33.5 for them, predicting 44.5. So both of those running backs in a game that we expect to be more running than passing make a lot of sense to me. So that's I'm right there with you in terms of these player props.
Both of my model had those at 4+ yards and what those are. So I didn't even see those either earlier. So Ooh. I might be adding those too for me. I love the Sam Darnold ones. I would love a 4-yard QB sneak. How about that? Use the legs, big guy.
Yeah, Green Star recommended over 3.5. Yeah, that. Let's check out what he's done recently. I mean, he's boom or bust. There's a lot of games he doesn't run at all, but 5 last week, 23 against Atlanta. Again, winds whipping. They're rushing. He finds a way to get it up there, sneak and gain you 4 or 5 yards. Not a bad idea there to go with the Darnold over. So I'm glad you highlighted that because I'm ready to move on to another game. Ooh, Darnold? Green Star only over 3.5?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one's interesting to me. Unless you have anything else, Kate. Anything else on this game you want to hit on? Or are you ready to keep going? Because we got a few other games I want to run by you.
I love it. I'm good.
Nice. So let's go back to our games. And I want to throw this one at you again. I got 3 games, Kate. I texted them to you, but they're gross. They're not the most popular games this weekend, but they're the ones that are lighting up the most rhythm system matches, which I really got to respect. So the first one, Bengals, Dolphins. And again, you happen to be a Bengals guy, so maybe you can give me some insight into what's going on with the Bengals, because Joe Burrow is like, he might quit football and become a philosopher, Cade. I mean, I don't know what's up with this guy. Like, he had a big win for us outright, getting the 7.5 against the Ravens on Thanksgiving, and like, looked great, and then covered for us against the Bills. And now it's like the guy is like contemplating his existence, Cade. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. But the big story for this one is Tua finally got benched. So a long time coming, should have been coming a while ago. I took like an idiot, even though it was kind of a sharp play, Miami against Pittsburgh, and Miami couldn't do anything all game. So I'm like, get Tua out of here. But he's down. It's not going to be Zach Wilson. It's Quinn Ewers from Texas, the rookie. And the market has really moved toward Burrow. So the Bengals, when we didn't really know if it was Tua or not, it was basically a pick 'em game. Some shops were like Bengals -1.5. Some shops were Miami -1.5. Well, now that Burrow is going to play Ewers, this line has really moved towards Cincinnati. And I'm wondering, Kate, if it's an overreaction, because going from a pick to now all the way up to Cincy -4, even -4.5, feels like an overreaction to me. If you look at some of the splits here, only 34% of bets, but 57% of dollars are going with Miami. And Quinn Ewers doesn't have to set the world on fire. He just has to manage the game and not throw interceptions, which Tua could not do. So I'm thinking the points with Miami here, Cade. I have 4 models all lit up on the Dolphins. First model says Dolphins should be plus 1.6. Second model says Dolphins should be minus 0.9. You know how I feel about dogs being favored outright, Cade. I know you like that too. And then the coup de grace, the big one, the recommended smart signal and Green Star play, Dolphins plus 1.4. So let me throw it to you. Thoughts on Quinn Ewers? More importantly, what's going on with your boy Burrow? And is this a spot where we should take Miami in the points and follow Rithmm?
I hope he's going to have fun in the nicer weather. I guess I could start out with that. I mean, if you're playing in Miami and you're upset about it during whatever's going on here in Ohio right now, yeah, you got another thing coming. No, I did take the Dolphins. I took them. I didn't take them at I saw my buddy got them at 2.5, and then that was I don't think the news is broke yet, but that was just when the crazy line was just like shifting like crazy. This game it's a very weird situation with the line movement and how it's been, because I'm comparing the Dolphins line movement to the Kansas City line movement. You look at both of these. I was listening to a podcast today, and they were going over these two situations as well. A spread adjustment of roughly 5 points is going to be an overreaction, obviously, just due to the QB being out. Mahomes being out shifted the Kansas City line 7 points. The difference between Tua and Patrick Mahomes is 2 points. What?
Agreed.
So, yeah, give me the 4. like the snap of the finger, just give me the 4. They put up a stinker, obviously, in Pittsburgh. We know that they are not historically good in these cold temps, specifically Tua. They are not good. Regardless of who's playing QB, though, the run offense, it's a run-heavy offense. This Bengals defense sucks at defending the run. 27th in run stop win rate, and they are getting bullied. 46.2% success rate per run from opponents. So if you're looking at Achane, who can control the possession, control the tempo, milk the clock, keep Burrow and that explosive offense off the field, and they're coming off a bad game themselves where they put up a stinker. He's thrown 4 interceptions in the past 2 games. If they could just keep them on the sidelines, then I think they have this game in control. So I'm going to take Dolphins at the 4.5. I think I'm going to buy the hook. I know that there's a flat for some good prices, but I don't mind spending the extra couple of cents, especially for the 120 or the 115, whatever it is, if it's still there. I'm gonna hop on that, and then I'm probably going to sprinkle even more on the money line here as well. I as the Bengals are putting this like season in the gutter, it feels like these post game interviews that I've been watching, like there's just zero hope whatsoever. It feels like I don't know. It's sad, but that's where we're at here. I think they're done, just as much as I am probably, but yeah, Dolphins plus 4.5, and probably the money line is going to be my 2 plays there. I also like the under. I didn't play it though, but I do like it a lot. I just didn't want to put too much into one game with Quinn Ewers, but I saw my models did like it as well, and it looks like that one does. So
Yeah, great point. Again, because Burrow, not really the offensive juggernaut we're used to. Ewers, your first career NFL start. Are you going to put up 30 points? I doubt it. Also, I know it's Miami, but it is going to be a little bit windy, 10-mile-per-hour winds. Also, John Hussey, you're a weirdo like me, Kate. I know you look at the referees. He's 59% ATS to the home team, which would benefit Dolphins plus 4.5. And he's 54% to the under. So do we get a kind of lower scoring game? You know, you got to, obviously it's going to be warm. It's going to be 80 degrees, but a little bit of wind, under referee. The total it has fallen. It was 50.5 at one point when we thought Tua might play. Now it's down to 47.5. So that makes a lot of sense, but I'm going to ride this Rithmm recommendation. And to your point, you know, talking about that side, it does look like DraftKings and FanDuel are giving you the 4.5. You're going to have to pay the minus 115, minus 120, but that's really going to be my angle here. So I'm going to put this in right after we finish up our stream. All right, next gross one for you, Cade. Here's another terrible game that hopefully we can cash on. Jets Saints.
oh.
I mean, hold your nose with this one here, Cade. This is people are gonna puke in their mouth when they hear us talk about this one. But Jets going with Cook, who was with Missouri last year.
Brady Cook, yeah.
Yeah, Brady Cook, and didn't have a great debut. I think he had 1 touchdown, 3 picks, something like that. And everyone is saying after that, you know, first game, hey, he stinks. Play the Saints. Saints also have played pretty decent here as of late, and we've seen this line move again. I think the theme of these NFL games is the line moving too much? Is there an overreaction? Because when it was an opener of just, I saw some openers, Cade, like -2.5, -3, 3.5, something like that. Now this line is all the way up to 5.5. I mean, I don't know if we get to 6. That would be obviously a key number that would be very appealing if you're on the Jets here. But no one wants to play the Jets. They're only getting about 25% of spread bets at DraftKings. However, this is a low total game of only 40.5. You're nearing a touchdown spread on a dog that no one wants. And as good as the Saints have been, Kate, I'm getting annoyed because I can feel it right now. I'm going to lose my under 5.5 win total with the Saints. We were sitting pretty. We were looking good. And the Saints, man, they keep winning. I don't understand it. So that's a whole nother story. They're at 4-10 right now. But they had to win 2 in a row against Tampa and Carolina. You're telling me Tampa and Carolina, neither of them can beat the Saints? Anyway, I'm looking at the Jets here, believe it or not. We have 3 models, Jets plus 5.5, where Rithmm is a smart signal plus 4.5. That's a full point edge. Second model plus 3. That's a full 2.5 point edge. Third model, Green Star recommended Jets plus 4.1. So low total game, overreaction. You're buying low on an inflated dog. Kate, I don't want to ruin your night, but any thoughts on Jets plus 5.5 here? There you go. Might be muted, my man.
See, it doesn't even want me to talk about this game.
That's a sign right there from the gambling gods to just not take the Jets, I think. Yeah.
No, I was just saying this is like one of those games where I feel like a lot of the people on Rithmm especially just kind of open the app and it's just like you're scrolling down to this game. It's like, please don't be Jets. Please don't be Jets. Oh, it's Jets. And it's got the smart signal. So it's like, no. I don't have a side in this one. I actually looked at the total. I am on the under here actually. Which mine, that's weird. Mine had the under. That's funny. But I don't know if I trust Brady Cook that much, much less the Saints offense. I mean, they're down Alvin Kamara, so it's good for you for one thing. If you can shut down that guy, I mean, you have a really good shot at beating the Saints team because it feels like it's all they have. They're averaging 16 points per game. That's it. They have two of the worst offenses in the league, and obviously they have actually improved their scoring in the last few weeks. It looks like. They still haven't seen him score 24 since October the 5th. So, and the Jets, they're only a little bit better, 3 points better at 19.7 points per game. It is a decently lower total, especially in a dome. But even like how short this total is in a dome, it's like clicking to me that it's just like, you know what? Why wouldn't it be the under here? Why wouldn't these guys go all out and just gunslinging with their QB that's in their second career game? I don't know. Jets have been held to 14 points or fewer in the 5 of their last 9, and I think it's going to be extremely unlikely that they find a way to move that ball consistently for the rest of the year, honestly. It's hard to judge Brady Cook off of one start, and I don't think it's going to be like any expectation for him, but you're going to have to tend to Breece Hall in these kind of games, I feel like. And he's ran for, I mean, he's still been pretty productive this year. He's up to 900 total yards, but only 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, it's just like, you just use your guy, man. Good night. And then New Orleans, they've held their last 5 opponents to 24 points or less. So I think if you just keep the Jets under 20, and then you keep the Saints under 20 for your case, I think we're looking pretty good here. And I think that you can pretty much expect the Jets to come in decently below the threshold of what we need them to be at in a way. I wanted the team total, especially on the Saints side, because the moment that I saw Kamara was out, I immediately wanted to buy in. But it's just such a short number. I just don't know if I can actually do it. And I think they just don't put up many points on either side. They're only averaging, even in the wins, on both sides, even in both of their teams' wins, they're only averaging 21 a game. So just keep both teams under 21. This is an easy cash here. If you do that, that's all you have to do. Just hopefully we don't see a 24-20 game. But for your sake, I'll root for the Jets just to score more than the Saints, as long as they don't score that much.
Thank you, my man. Yeah, a miracle here would be Rithmm looks like a genius because they tell us to take the Jets, and then somehow my Saints under 5.5 survives one more week. I don't feel great about it, but definitely respect and would lean Jets here in the points. One more NFL game for you, Cade, and then there are 2 huge FBS championship playoff games that we got to hit on. But let's just go to this Monday night game because this jumped out to me. 49ers and Colts. Now, obviously, incredible story with Phillip Rivers getting off the couch, 44 years old, played pretty decent, really had Seattle pretty much on the ropes there until the very end, which I don't think you could ask much more of that from a guy who's, older than me. And that's saying something, Kate. I'm 38 years old. I'm getting older, in these this NFL world. But I think there's an opportunity to really go contrarian and take Indy and the Colts this week because if you look at this 49ers team, they are very popular. 49ers are 10-4. They've won 4 straight. I mean, you beat Tennessee, Cleveland, Carolina, Arizona, not like world beaters or anything, but they have a good record. Everyone's down on the Colts. They like the story of Rivers, but this is a team that was undefeated for quite a while and has fallen off quite a bit. So you have 49ers who have won 4 in a row. Colts have lost 4 in a row. So the public says easy Monday night game play to take the 49ers. Now, the line, it opened at most shops -5.5. It's pretty much still 5.5. You can get a 6. I think one shop got to 6.5 and came back down to 6. It looks like a line freeze play to me, kid, because you're getting 70% of spread bets on San Fran, but the line really doesn't want to move too much. Like -5.5, 70% tickets, you would think they'd be up to 6.5, 7. No, they're kind of staying right where they're at. So I'm thinking of taking the 6 here with the Colts. It's the ultimate buy low, sell high. You're a primetime dog, contrarian dog, dog off a loss versus opponent off a win. That system is 58% against the spread this year. And we get to our rhythm models, all on the Colts. First model says Old Man Rivers plus 3.3. You can get a 6. Good edge there. Plus 5.5. Green Star recommended play. Rhythm says it should be only 4.3. Another great edge. And third model, only Colts plus 2.5. So we have all three models saying take the Colts in the points. Again, you can shop around and find yourself a 6 out there. I'm grabbing the 6 here, Cade. They're right up my alley as an unpopular primetime contrarian dog. Pretty much a line freeze, element of some smart money, liability in their favor. And we can fade maybe an overvalued 49ers team, buy low on a maybe undervalued Colts team. Any thoughts on this one here, Cade, as I am about to pull up the Phillip Rivers props to see if there's any angles there?
Yeah. If you guys want to talk about before the Christmas break, this is going to be the last game before Christmas. You want a Christmas miracle? How about the 44-year-old grandfather coming out of retirement to get us something here, huh? I simply put, I mean, this 49ers defense is deteriorated with injuries all over the place. And I think that they can obviously put up points, honestly, on them. So, I mean, they don't have a single pass rush. They don't have any talent on the left side of that defensive line. And this isn't like you're not on the road here. I mean, you're at home, primetime spot. That place is going to be rocking. You need a win. This team has been pretty much fell off back to the original Colts that they have been. And now you're looking to bounce back in a way to get them back in a decent race in front. And Jonathan Taylor, on the other hand, as well. I think he's going to have to find room. And ultimately, you're going to have the play action in play. Phillip Rivers is the absolute godfather of old-fashioned play action. Super slow guy, but he just, nobody fakes it. It's like him and Aaron Rodgers have been like the best old-timer QBs to just do play action. They put it to perfection. I love it. It's not going to be flashy, but I think the line is compromised. I mean, the defense, they're missing key names, and like the offense itself on San Francisco side, they could hang – again, same thing, maybe 20 or less, I would hope. I don't think the Colts are going to be winning a shootout in this case. They're going to need their defense to step up. I think that's the main key, and they've defended well. And the 49ers, again, they're probably not going to have the weapons to hurt the backup corners down the field. And they are top 3 in success rate and explosives on the season offensively. So those metrics now, after Daniel Jones is out, the 49er defense is bottom 5 in success rate and bottom 10 in explosives. So God forbid Josh Downs, Michael Pittman down there somewhere, can he sling it more than 30 yards? Who knows? I mean, I would have loved to see it. I think they've crushed some white box defenses all year. I do like the Colts a lot with the points, and I like them even more outright. I'm going to hope to God that Phil can get it done. I have them on the spread. I have them on the money line, and I played super small, like a half a unit on the total. I also have the under in there as well, just because of the prime time. I'm a big prime time under guy, so why not? But yeah,
it's funny. Every year, Cade, I'm like, let me just play every prime time under, regardless of the criteria, and just like let me be committed to it and do it, and just I feel confident I'll be in the green at the end, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I like the spread more. I don't want to you kind of get into your own head with that stuff, but I'm right there with you. Primetime under, some good rhythm recommendations. So I'm going Rivers here. I really like these angles here with the Colts. Now, you might have noticed I was scrolling up here, Cade. This is the importance and shows you that Rhythm is always at work. We started the show without a smart signal on the spread.
Oh, that's right.
Well,
yeah.
We just lit up Seahawks -1.5 on the smart signal spread, predicting Seahawks -2. So again, goes to show you that Rhythm is always running these models and compiling all the latest data and spitting out to us any matches that we may have. So I love the fact that now the Seahawks are an official Green Star recommended play. Now, Cade, let's wrap it up here just with a couple college football bowl or playoff games, I should say. These are important because we're obviously in the new bracket here, going for the championship. So everyone's playing. No coaches have left for other schools. These are all important games that have a lot of stakes here. So the one I wanted to mention and throw at you first was Alabama and Oklahoma. This one is really intriguing for a bunch of different reasons. Number one, it is your primetime game tomorrow. So if you look at, the most heavily bet game of the night, it is this Bama Sooners matchup. And if we kind of look at a little bit in terms of where the line has gone, it's notable to me that two things. One, it's kind of like this Seahawks game tonight where it's just kind of hovering around a pick 'em, but now it's becoming a short favorite here with Oklahoma. So Oklahoma at one point, it was like a pick 'em game, or even I want to say Bama -1, and it's now flipped to Oklahoma pick 'em now -1 or -1.5. So the line's moving toward Oklahoma. I mean, if you look at betting the way I do, you like Seattle and you like Oklahoma, okay? They're very similar in terms of heavily bet games, but not very popular, yet you have a line move and you get that home field advantage. So Oklahoma, again, going from as high as +1 now to -1.5. Tickets are right down the middle at DraftKings. However, at Circa, only 31% bets, but 86% dollars are on Oklahoma. The other thing is it's not a neutral site. It's a true Oklahoma home game. And we noticed last year a lot. I can't give you all the games, but I feel like those home teams really crushed in that first round
last year. Yeah.
Last year, yeah.
By more than a possession last year. Yeah. Comfortably.
Exactly. So hopefully that continues here because I'm on the Sooners. Better defense, line move, good split at Circa. And if we look at the spread, both are on Oklahoma, -3.1 and Oklahoma -5.7. And then if we look at the money line, this is the money maker here for me. Green Star recommended Oklahoma money line play. And again, not a bad price. Kalshi's got a -104, but all these other books are just a kind of almost a regular, slightly juiced up -115. Give me your breakdown for this one, Cade, because I'm going Sooners here on the money line.
This one's awesome because, again, this is like our NFL games that we went over. We already have game one under our belt for both of these teams. And Oklahoma was in Tuscaloosa, and they came out with a win. They forced more turnovers. They got outgained. I mean, yeah, they just did whatever they wanted in T-Town. And now we get them at the Palace in Norman, Oklahoma, and Bama's got to pretty much do what they did to them. Nonetheless, short case is simple. I do not think that happens at all. This Bama team is not the same from what they were. And I went over this on our podcast last night and I mean, if you on your couch right now in the camera, if you are watching on your computer, on your phone, did you know that you had more rushing yards than Alabama last week?
Ooh.
Give yourselves a round of applause for that one. Congrats. You guys led a Division I SEC team in rushing. They cannot run the ball. Regardless if Jay Miller is back or not, they cannot run the ball. And now, as I was saying earlier in the year, this Oklahoma defense that I pretty much said all year was a top 3 to 5 unit ascending, they are pretty much now top 2, and they are not 2. They are undoubtedly the best unit in college football. They are rested. They are healthier. And now you have your quarterback who started out the year as a Heisman candidate who also got hurt middle through the year, who's kind of been on a slight decline. You gave him time to get recharged and regroup. They've had 3 weeks to prepare for a game, which they've already played and beat once on the road, and now they get them at home. And you're still getting -1.5. Not a chance. It's the Sooners, and they advance, and I think they play in the Rose Bowl. And, yeah, that's about it. Short, sweet, and simple. Sorry.
No, great breakdown by you, man. And also, like, what's the tax on the Crimson Tide name? Like, that name carries a lot of recognition, a lot of public love. So are you playing Bama because you're like, yeah, the same record and Bama's a really good program? Or is it, am I overvaluing Bama because it's Alabama? Like, I agree with you. I think, and again, the data backs it up. Sooners here, very appealing money line, very short price. And also, like, I'm one of those idiots, Cade, who took Alabama against Georgia in the SEC championship game. And that was one of the worst, most disgusting, pathetic performances I can remember. I mean, they couldn't tie their shoes right. Like, that was just disgusting. So maybe I'm letting my bias and my lost unit, speak a little bit here, but I'm happy to bet against this Bama team. Not just because they screwed me, but because the market is telling me
Right.
I should fade them. So that's the distinction, I think.
It hurt worse on my end because I've had futures for them to win the SEC. I had a future at the beginning of the year for them to win the Natty. And like people think this is funny. They're like, Kate, are you hedging this at all? It's like, no, this is a legitimate play. Oklahoma's winning this game. This is not, this is no hedge. This is no middle. I also think Rithmm might just hate Alabama because they had Oklahoma in the first game. They had Auburn in the last week of the season. And then it was just, I don't think I've ever seen a green star in Alabama this year yet. So.
Well, hey, good that there's not one for this game. So let's go Sooners, man. All right, let's bring it home, Cade, because we got to get ready for this Monday night game. But last one I wanted to throw at you, big one, which I'm kind of annoyed is at noon on Saturday. Like, shouldn't this be your 8 o'clock game? Like the other games.
Yeah,
it makes no sense. Like, James Madison, Oregon is your 7:30 game. Oregon's favored by 21 points. Like Tulane, Ole Miss. Ole Miss is minus 17.5. Like, give me a good matchup that could be competitive 8 o'clock Saturday night. Like, I think that's a weird scheduling, choice there. But regardless, I like Miami, Florida here, Cade. You look at kind of the way the market has reacted. Texas A&M is your favorite here, and they were great all year until they lost their final game here, coming off their first loss of the season. So I think there's just a carryover with the public saying Texas A&M is a really good team versus Miami, Florida, who had some stumbles, but Carson Beck and, Bain could be a top pick in the NFL draft. But the market is clearly showing the public likes A&M here. They've been better wire to wire in terms of rankings. They are at home, which scares me a bit. But the market's dropping toward Miami. We opened Texas A&M mostly minus 3.5. Texas A&M is right now getting 73% of spread bets at DK. Public's all over A&M, but A&M's not up to 4. This line is falling down to 3. So we're doing this stream here, obviously, on a Thursday night, games Saturday afternoon. I don't think you should wait here. I jumped on the hook because I think it's important. They lose by 3. You need to cover with that 3.5. And if we look at the current prices here or the current, Rithmm recommendations, they're all in Miami. Take the 3.5 because Rithmm thinks it should be plus 2.4. Second model says it should be plus 3.1. And you have a couple recommended money line plays if you think Miami can pull off the upset. I'm taking the 3.5. If they win outright, hey, fine by me. I'm not bold enough to go money line, but I hope it happens. And I'm going to take the 3.5, Cade. Very contrarian line move, becoming a true RLM play here in favor of Miami. And Rithmm is saying it should be closer to a 2-point game, 2.5-ish. So what do you think here? Is this worthwhile in terms of a data play to take the U?
It's hilarious because I know we were just talking about historically how well these home first-round favorites do. They covered at a crazy rate last year. This is the first road dog team in the playoff, I think, that gets a win. And I think this is the one. I took this one on the opener at plus 5.5 2 Saturdays ago. During conference championship weekend, right after the games ended. The Sunday after the selection show, whenever these lines opened. They were not, Sunday after the selection show when those lines opened. I got the plus 5.5 for minus 110 on FanDuel there. And it's not like anything like a crazy key number. I expected the steam just to get this below a 3. And at one point it did. This was sitting at A&M minus 2.5 for a couple, I think at least a day. And then it immediately jumped back up to the 3. You are looking at my official Natty future. I had this at 27-1 for the Canes to win the national championship. This team has all the talent in the world to go on the 4-game run, and I think they have the easiest path to do so. First, we'll start with this game, obviously. Ruben Bain. You have a top lottery pick on the offensive line. You have Malachi Toney, which is the next Tyreek Hill. You have Keontae Scott, who is going to be pretty much the next Sean Taylor on this Miami team. Like, you have studs all the way around. Carson Beck's going to be an NFL starter probably. And there's so many guys on this team that can just play with talent. And the lines, the Miami Canes lines, they can hold up just as well against the A&M lines. And it's going to start with the pass protection. You keep Carson Beck clean. You give him time. Let the receiving corps do the rest. Let them get their yak. Just give them the ball. Let them do their thing. That's all you got to do. The only problem is where they went wrong. Louisville and SMU. It's the two games I look at on Miami's schedule this year. They threw 4 interceptions against Louisville, and they still almost won. You look at the SMU game. There's an overtime loss where they should have won. And then, turnovers haven't even been an issue. They turned the ball over, they fumbled the ball 1 time. That's it. The interceptions are they're going to happen. It's going to be there. But 2+ is going to be unacceptable in a game like this. So they're going to have to keep that at the minimum. A&M, terrifying defense. They're very phenomenal. What they do not do, though, they do not force turnovers at all, actually. They forced 9 takeaways all year and 3 in the final 7 games, but the offense lost the ball 11 times over the last 5 games. I'm going to trust the better defense. It's going to be a battle of the trenches. I'm going to trust Miami in the trenches more. I think both teams are loaded. They are both better than their seeding, and they both have elite coaching and the playmakers to take this game over immediately. And this is going to be hard because I don't like Mario Cristobal on the road in hostile environments, especially. Overall, I look back at Texas. Texas could not run the ball on anybody all year long. They ran all over Texas A&M in that rivalry game. So I think if you're looking at like a hostile environment, I mean, the crowd's going to be juiced. You're going to have drunk college kids at 11 a.m. I mean, this is going to be nuts. I'm going to take Miami to win this game, though, outright. And, yeah, this is going to be the one road team, I hope, that just breaks that stigma. And, yeah, I'm going to take that.
No, you laid it out perfectly. And again, too, there might be like a pro SEC, anti-ACC bias at play here. And you look at Miami, maybe it's to their benefit. They got some of these losses out of the way and they can kind of bounce back versus A&M, who just was great all year, suffered a loss. And now it's like, ooh, we got to kind of, generate that momentum once again. So I don't know if maybe that could be at play here as well. But I'm with you. Miami plus 3.5. Unpopular line move, rhythm system match. Give me the U here, plus 3.5. But Cade, that about does it, my man. Wrapping things up. Another great live stream. Great job tonight. But as always, we want to remind everyone to download Rithmm, to enter the leaderboard contest, to use the promo code START25 for 25% off. Shout out to Megan and Brian and the whole crew and our buddy Adam Rosenberg for really putting together these bet syncs so we can go right directly to the sportsbook when we want to place a bet. I'm rooting for the Seahawks tonight here, Cade. So take us home, my man. Any final thoughts here before we depart?
Other than just enjoy the games this weekend. It's going to be, I cannot explain. You have Seahawks and Rams tonight. You have a first opening playoff game tomorrow night, and then you just get to sit and rot on your couch all day on Saturday. You have college, and you have 2 NFL games, I think, on Saturday too.
That's right.
So might be a gross NFL Sunday, which I'm fine with. Those are sometimes the best ones, if I'm being completely honest with you. But nonetheless, yeah, I mean, looking forward to it. It should be a really, really good weekend in terms of entertainment. And yeah, I like the value that we got on the board this weekend as well. So let's get started.
Looking forward to it, man. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. And Cade, we haven't even talked, but Christmas is a week from today. So what do you think? Should we do a when? We got to think about this because I'm supposed to go see my family and drive for New Year's Eve. I'm thinking out loud here. I don't know. Do we do a Tuesday show? I'll throw it at you. We'll text. We'll figure it out. But if we don't, for whatever reason, the reason's legit because it's the holidays. But want to thank everyone for tuning in, for listening. And, of course, we got a few weeks left, and then we get to the playoffs, which is the real fun when it comes to betting NFL. But thank you all for listening. Good luck, and we'll see you